One afternoon in my clinic, a 72-year-old man sat quietly across from me. He looked down and said softly, "Doctor, I've been doing it the same way for 50 years. But lately something feels wrong." He wasn't sick. He wasn't taking new medication. Nothing seemed out of place except for one thing. What was quietly damaging his health, his heart, his prostate, and even his ability to feel was not the act of self-pleasure itself, but how he was doing it. I'm doctor, a urologist with over 12 years of experience, helping men over 60 restore strength, circulation, and confidence without shame, confusion, or dependency on pills. And today we need to talk about something most men never discuss, but all of them should understand: the 7 masturbation mistakes older men make, and how to correct them before they silently erode your vitality. Mistake 1. Relying on porn as the main source of stimulation. Countless men in their 60s and 70s come to me with the same quiet confession. "Doc, I can't feel much anymore. I don't know why." They're not broken, they're overstimulated. After 60, the dopamine system in your brain, the one that governs pleasure, motivation, and satisfaction, becomes less flexible. It doesn't reset as easily as it used to. When you constantly flood it with high-intensity adult content, your brain adapts by numbing itself. Clip after clip, novelty after novelty. The brain dulls its own receptors to survive the overstimulation. Even if your body is healthy, your brain stops responding the way it used to. Real touch feels dull. Intimacy feels distant. Pleasure becomes mechanical. And most men mistake that numbness for aging, but it's not. It's dopamine fatigue, your brain's way of saying, "I can't keep up with this level of artificial excitement." The fixu, warns. Reset your brain. Take a 14-day break from all visual stimulation. Relearn pleasure through touch, breath, and presence. Let your body remember what natural arousal feels like, not the endless scroll of digital noise. Mistake 2. Doing it while sitting on the toilet. It sounds harmless. Convenient even. For many older men, the bathroom feels like the safest private space. Locked door, no interruptions. But here's the hidden danger that hunched sitting position restricts: blood flow to your pelvic region. And after 60, circulation means everything. Blood flow is what keeps your prostate healthy, your erection strong, and your bladder functioning smoothly. But when you compress those arteries and nerves, especially during stimulation, you quietly damage the very systems that keep you alive and virile. I've seen this pattern hundreds of times. Men with chronic groin ache, weak urine flow, post-urination, dribbling, pelvic tension, never realizing it all began with one cramped posture. The fix: never do it sitting hunched forward. Try standing, reclining, or lying down. Give your pelvic area space to breathe. Your prostate will thank you. Mistake 3. Rushing through it like a task. This might be one of the most common and most damaging habits I see. Many men treat self-pleasure like a chore. Let's just get it over with. But when you rush, your nervous system interprets that speed as stress. Your heart rate spikes, your blood vessels constrict, and your body never reaches the calm, oxytocin-rich state that heals, relaxes, and restores balance. You may climax, but you don't feel fulfilled. Instead of energy, you feel emptiness. Over time, this rewires the brain. Pleasure becomes shallow, disconnected, and unsatisfying. You lose sensitivity, stamina, and emotional connection. The fix: Doctor, slow down. Let each moment be intentional. At this age, your nervous system thrives on calm stimulation, not force or haste. There's no finish line anymore, only connection. Mistake 4. Ignoring the pelvic floor. Most men have never even heard of the pelvic floor, yet it's one of the most crucial muscle groups in the male body. It sits beneath your bladder, prostate, and sexual organs. It controls erection strength, bladder control, and even confidence. When these muscles weaken, everything above them suffers. I once treated a 68-year-old retired firefighter. He exercised daily, ate well, stayed active, but his sexual function was fading. The culprit? A weak pelvic floor. Years of sitting, stress, and disconnection from that area had caused his foundation to deteriorate. When you masturbate without engaging these muscles or worse, by pushing downward or tensing incorrectly, you weaken them further. That's why some men experience post-urination dribbling, reduced sensation, and weaker erections. The fix: learn pelvic floor activation. During arousal, gently contract the same muscles you'd use to stop urinating midstream. Hold for a few seconds, then release. This builds awareness, tone, and circulation. With consistency, it can restore both control and confidence. Surity 5. Mistake 5. Getting frequency wrong. Too often or too rarely. This is a topic many men avoid, yet it's one of the most important. Some worry they're doing it too often. Others feel guilty for not doing it enough. Here's the truth: both extremes are harmful. Too frequent, and the prostate can become irritated. Your energy drops, and pleasure turns mechanical. Too infrequent, and you risk stagnation, reduced blood flow, nerve dullness, even atrophy from disuse. The body was designed for rhythm, not excess, not deprivation. From years of clinical experience, I've found that for most men over 60, 1 to 2 times per week is ideal, done mindfully, without guilt or urgency. That rhythm keeps hormones balanced, maintains circulation, and prevents stagnation or fatigue. This isn't about rules. It's about awareness. At this stage of life, your body whispers instead of shouting, and your job is to listen. Mistake 6. Using too much pressure or force. This is one of the most harmful and most common mistakes among older men. As sensitivity fades with age, the instinct is to press harder, grip tighter, or use rougher surfaces. But that instinct backfires. The nerves in the penis are extremely delicate. Years of excess pressure can cause micro tears, scar tissue, and reduced elasticity, even leading to a condition called Peyronie's disease, where the penis develops curvature and pain. Many men lose sensitivity not from age, but from trauma caused by excessive friction. And here's the irony: force doesn't restore feeling, it destroys it. It also rewires your brain. Pleasure becomes something you fight for instead of surrender to. That tension blocks the very circulation and hormones that create satisfaction. The fix: be gentle. Always use lubricant. Prioritize blood flow and comfort, not intensity. Your body responds to patience and care, not punishment. 7. Mistake 7. Doing it without emotion, connection, or intention. This final mistake is the one that breaks my heart most often. Over time, many older men lose emotional connection to self-pleasure. It becomes mechanical, quiet, empty, joyless. They're not doing it for pleasure anymore. They're doing it out of habit, boredom, or loneliness. But when intimacy loses emotion, it loses its healing power. Your brain stops releasing oxytocin, the connection hormone that reduces anxiety and builds happiness. Dopamine no longer renews motivation. You might climax, but you feel empty afterward. That's not aging, that's disconnection. The fix: reclaim intention. Treat self-touch as a sacred moment of gratitude, a way to reconnect with your body, your breath, your vitality. Touch yourself not to escape, but to return home to yourself. Even solo intimacy can be healing, peaceful, and deeply human. Summary: the 7 mistakes and how to fix them. Mistake hidden damage fix. 1. Over-reliance on porn. Dopamine fatigue. Emotional numbness. Restoring day dopamine reset. Rediscover natural touch. 2. Doing it on the toilet. Poor blood flow. Pelvic. Compression stand, recline, or lie down instead. 3. Rushing nervous system stress. Emotional detachment. Slow down. Focus on breathing and awareness. 4. Ignoring pelvic floor. Weak erections. Bladder leaks. Practice Kegel-type contractions. 5. Wrong frequency. Irritated prostate or stagnation. 2. Mindful sessions per week. 6. Too much pressure. Nerve damage. Peyronie's disease. Gentle touch. Proper lubrication. 7. No emotional connection. Loss of oxytocin. Loneliness. Reconnect. Emotionally cultivate gratitude. Final message: you're not broken, you're evolving. If you've made it this far, let me speak not just as a doctor, but as someone who's listened to thousands of good men in silence. You are not broken. You are not past your prime. You are simply evolving. Your body isn't failing you. It's asking for a new kind of attention, not driven by habit or urgency, but by awareness, gentleness, and presence. When you give it that, everything changes. Pleasure returns. Confidence returns. Your connection with yourself or a partner comes alive again. Aging isn't the end of vitality. It's an invitation to rediscover it differently, deeper, and wiser. Remember today, noni or second them. Cut down artificial stimulation. Focus on real sensation. Choose supportive posture. Keep a natural rhythm. Be gentle with yourself. Bring emotion back into the experience. Because after 60, strength isn't about intensity, it's about harmony. Your body doesn't want to be conquered. It wants to be understood. True masculinity isn't resisting age. It's learning how to live in peace with your body